Happy Thursday, everybody. Welcome to the Nest BBQ Show. Steve Ray coming to you live from the Nest BBQ R&D Center and radio studios high above Ottawa, Tennessee on White Oak Mountain. We're brought to you by my place, Steve Ray's Midnight Oil and Michelin Tires Direct, right here in Ottawa. The only Michelin dealer in Ottawa and the East Brainerd area. The only Michelin dealer you'll need in the Ottawa area. Birchwood, Rabbit Valley, all those places. We've also got all three grades of non-ethanol fuel, regular, mid-grade, premium. And, of course, we have ethanol fuel as well. All four grades of fuel for you available at my place. Steve Ray's Midnight Oil in Ottawa. We're also brought to you by the most incredible product line available for barbecue and live fire cooking people. Butcher's Barbecue. And did you see what happened last Saturday in Lynchburg, Tennessee, the home of Jack Daniels? Littlemore County, Tennessee. David Bosca drove in with his family from Chandler, Oklahoma to Lynchburg, Tennessee, and won the Jack Daniels Invitational Barbecue Contest. If you're not familiar with competition barbecue, he won the Super Bowl. He won the British Open. He is, as they say in Scotland, the championship barbecuer of the year, David Bosca, and we know him. And we carry his products at the Midnight Oil in Ottawa. If David Bosca makes it, we have it at my place, Steve Ray's Midnight Oil in Ottawa. Just an incredible, incredible contest for David and a great win. Could not believe it. I was watching the award ceremonies. My acquaintance Jim Elzer was live streaming the award ceremony last Saturday afternoon from Lynchburg. It got down to second place, and his feed went. And so I was frantically texting everyone, and I texted David. I said, do you know who won? And then I found out that he had won. And we could believe it because he's a great cook, but we couldn't believe it because he's a friend of ours. So congratulations, David Bosca. And stay tuned at the end of the show. I'm going to tell you a huge what we're going to do next Wednesday night right here on the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. David will be a guest here. He'll be on for the full hour. And we're going to do something that will literally shake the barbecue world and to its utter toes. And if you are a backyard griller, a backyard smoker, a backyard barbecuer, you'll want to listen to, well, you're going to listen tonight because we have Tina Cannon and Nick Thiers on tonight. But next Wednesday, we'll have David Bosca on, and it will be an epic show, just as tonight will be an epic show as well. Wanted to go over that. Hey, don't forget, coming up soon at the Midnight Oil, we're going to have these gift boxes. I know they're hard to see right here. We have the gift boxes will be coming in. 4 12-ounce packages of Butcher Barbecue Rub will fit in those gift boxes. It's a handmade gift box made right here in Chattanooga by Joe Waller from Reify, and he's made them for us. And David Bosca is also going to carry those on his website. It's a very nice product, and it will have the Butcher Barbecue label on the front, and you can fit 4 of those Butcher Barbecue 12-ounce rubs in there, only $69.95, and they'll be available shortly as soon as Joe gets them to me, and it won't be that long. So congratulations by all means to David Bosca and Martin, his brother, and his son-in-laws that helped him cook at the Jack Daniels World Championship Invitational, one of the few real invitationals, because they send you an invitation. See, to be an invitational, you have to be sent an invitation. It's kind of like a wedding. You don't just go on the paper and look up who's having a wedding today and go to it. You got to send you an invitation. And that's what they do. And he won that. Iowa Smoky D's was second. Darren Worth and Sherry, his wife, they were the reserve grand champion. Our next guest, Tina Cannon, we'll be bringing her in just a minute. She placed, I'll find out. I want to say she placed in the top 10 in chicken, I believe, at the Jack Daniels, and that's an incredible feat. 107 of the world's greatest barbecue cookers were there. And if you're just there, you're something. I mean, you don't just. I mean, the names that weren't there could fill a championship log of barbecue. I mean, you could fill a book with the names that weren't there that are great cooks. Just to get there is a pat on the back, way to go, and to win it is just simply incredible. It's a lot like it's like winning like winning the British Open in golf, the great title in the world, the British Open, and it's just like winning that. All right, what we're going to do here, folks, I've been experimenting, so just join with me. Let's see, we are going to go to Skype. You're going to hear a bunch of weird noise because I just learned how to do this. Maybe it's not too weird.
Hello.
Tina Cannon.
Well, hello.
This is Steve Ray in Ooltewah. How are you doing?
I'm awesome.
We were just talking about you.
Uh-oh.
We were just talking about you. And now,
I
folks,
hope it was good.
It was good. Let me just go over this resume real quick. We have Tina Cannon on the line. She is the pit master of Pit Crew Barbecue from Noonan, Georgia. She and her husband Bobby are the pit crew, but Tina is the boss.
I'm the pit master.
You're the pit master. 2018 Georgia Barbecue Pork Team of the Year. The 2014 Georgia Barbecue Team of the Year. Contestant and winner of the American Grilled television series on the Travel Channel. Barbecue.
10K.
Pardon me?
I won 10K on that show.
I know. You were great. And you used your mama's, what was that thing called? Your mama's, I thought that was so funny. You used a pan like a lodge frying pan.
That was actually my grandfather's pan that I brought with me. You were allowed to bring one thing with you.
And that's what you
brought. And
brought.
I brought what had good juju in it. I learned to cook in that skillet.
Well, it must have worked because you won. Okay. She is also, now hold on, man. The barbecue personality of BBQ, which is seen nationally. That's from Maine to Los Angeles every Saturday morning at 8:00 on Destination America. She is a World Food Championship competitor, a Kansas City Barbecue Society competitor, a world-class barbecue instructor from Noonan, Georgia, Tina Cannon. Now, Tina, we don't have time for the interview because I went through this resume. And just an incredible member of the barbecue community. And it's so nice of you to take your time and join us tonight on a rainy old night here in Ooltewah, Tennessee.
I'm glad to be on here. I'm having birthday dinner with my family
tonight,
and I told them, I got to go in the other room and take this call. I'll be right back.
Well, happy birthday. Happy birthday. I think, what are you, 30 now?
I wish. 55, double nickel.
You're not far. You're catching up with me. Hey, Tina, let's. I know. What did you? We were talking, but before we picked you up here at the Jack Daniels, didn't you finish in the top 10? And I think it was chicken.
No, I actually was there with some friends of mine.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't get the draw this year. So
okay.
It was 15th and ribs.
Maybe it was that. There's another team called the Pit Crew of somewhere else. Maybe.
Right. That's why I've got the Pit Crew GA.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe that's what. But I guess you probably had a great time there.
Oh yeah, going around and seeing everybody, and I was there helping the team from Hungary, KGB. So I had, took them some supplies that they had ordered from Atlanta barbecue store, and I'd taken them some supplies and kind of helped them, coordinate and get some things together. They're really, really excited to be in America. It was amazing.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about the Cowboy Charcoal and the Fire and Ice competition that's coming up next week. You'll be leaving for Orange Beach, Alabama, at the World Food Championships.
Right. Well, this is my third year that they've had the all-female pitmaster, and we compete all year for points through the KCBS.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about this, because it's a very interesting competition that Mike and his staff have put together.
Now, it's very exciting because it gives an opportunity to showcase the women that are in barbecue, because a lot of people don't realize that we exist. I run into people literally every day. They're like, "You do that?" I mean, even today, I was shopping for some stuff. Women, they also got to take a shopping day. And I ran into some people that had no idea, but they recognized me from the show BBQ, which was kind of funny. But this is the third year Cowboy Charcoal has offered the All-Female Pitmaster Challenge. We compete, and they take the top 10 based on our KCBS points, even though it's not a KCBS judged contest.
Right.
But they have to use something. So luckily I came out on top in that. And this is going to be my third year. The first year I ended up fourth. Last year I ended up second.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope this year that I keep moving up. I don't know. I've been practicing my recipe, the timing, because you only have a 2-hour time from a cold grill. And we do this on a charcoal grill.
Right.
Of course, using, Cowboy Charcoal products. And this year they've upped the prize game. Not that I get extra money, but my charity will get extra money. So if I get the most likes on my Facebook page, and I have more than one, I'll be sure to give you those, liking the post. And what that does is it exposes, Cowboy, gives them more exposure from Cowboy Charcoal, and also the Women's Challenge, as well as World Food, and also my charity, which is Meals on Wheels, which is national and also in Europe and Canada and Brazil and a lot of other countries. They will win $5,000 just by me getting a like on that post.
Now,
and I know a lot of your people listening will be so glad when that contest is over, because I've been bombarding them with posts. And I promise you, as of the 4th, you will never see it again. But if I get the most likes, they're going to give Meals on Wheels, where I'm the chef. I prepare 750 to 1,000 meals a week there for the much needed elderly community that's homebound.
Mm-hmm.
And also we assist with their pets. They will give them $5,000, which is fabulous, because Lord knows we need it.
That will,
sometimes
a Meals on Wheels organization, that goes a long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe it does. And most people have heard of it, or it's touched their life in one way or another. We feed homebound elderly, or people in respite care,
mm-hmm.
or also people in hospice, people that can't prepare their own food, but still want to stay in the comfort of their own home. That's often the reason the people can't,
Right.
They have to go to nursing facilities, because they can't feed themselves, can't cook for themselves, or hydrate themselves. They can do that and still stay at home. Why not let people enjoy their life at home? So that is my chosen charity. Then, if I go and cook and win this year, Cowboy Charcoal will give another $10,000 to Meals on Wheels. I mean, isn't that fabulous?
So that's you're putting yourself out there with the opportunity to raise $15,000 for the Coweta Meals on Wheels program.
Yep, Coweta County, Georgia. And
that's fantastic.
And honestly, I mean, if people think about, they have the option of earning more money than me in that particular challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And, women are known for being charitable and helping charities, and there's 10 of us. And a lot of, we've all chose a different charity. I chose that one because I cook for them. It's in my community, and I know a lot of people that have benefited. Matter of fact, my mom and another family member actually helped deliver meals in the county that they live in for Meals on Wheels,
mm-hmm.
because they don't live in the same county I do. So it's a great experience to know that you can help other people, and all your listeners, all they have to do is click like on a post. And then, they're part of it.
And you could be helping the people in Coweta County,
yeah.
Georgia, maybe get $5,000 to $15,000 for the charity of Meals on Wheels in Coweta County, Georgia.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everybody that knows me knows what a big fan I am of the World Food Championships. And what is what's the format that the Fire and Ice group will be cooking this year? Because I watched y'all last year. You and Susan Burton cooked together, and
mm-hmm.
I watched y'all, and I thought it was a frantic time period from what I remember. Y'all were All
it's
of them were.
hard, and she
Y'all were
was
going crazy.
great. Oh yeah, she was a great assistant. We had never cooked together
Mm-hmm.
at all, and they changed the rules the last minute. That's part of it. I mean, it's a competition, and we had to have 10 samples instead of 5, like was originally discussed. They
Well, that's a Mike. That's the Mike McLeod trademark.
Yeah.
Change the rules at the last
That's
minute.
what makes it a challenge.
Right.
People want to be critical, whatever. But the thing is, that what makes it a challenge. You've got to be able to go on the fly. And thank goodness, Susie Q, I call her that, Suzanne Burton with Southport, always has lots of extra stuff in her motorhome. And she had not crossed the entry line yet. So she could still run and get something.
Oh,
so
I see. Okay.
She literally took off. Thank goodness she's very fit. She took off and ran like 100-yard dash, grabbed a bunch of plates right before we literally had to walk on and light our grill. So we cook on a bull, which is a type of charcoal grill. They're one of the big sponsors of World Food Championship.
Right.
We had to go from a cold grill, a bag of charcoal, and a chimney. Literally start from that and be able to present a dish with a 5-minute, before and after time, just like most people familiar with KCBS or ABA or FBA, in 2 hours. Well, it takes to get your grill hot, depending on what you're cooking. You've got 20 minutes invested right there.
Exactly.
So I prepared like a cross cut, what's called a flanking cut rib. I thought it was delicious, but I could, when I made it at home, we couldn't even taste it because since it went from 5 samples to 10, I didn't have any left. So I had nothing to taste to make sure it was right. I just had to turn it all in. So I was proud to come in second with that major catastrophe going on. So hopefully this year I can one-up it and win it.
A lot of people, I don't know what the word would be. They want to talk about women in barbecue as being an anomaly, something strange. But Tina, it's not. When you go to contest and you cook, most of the teams have their wives come along, or I don't say most of them, maybe a lot of them. And what I see is when you're walking around talking to everyone, the guys are sitting there drinking the beer outside of the tent, outside the motorhome, and the woman is inside putting together the box, cleaning up, and making, doing the work. I mean, that's just what you see.
I think for a lot like that. My husband and I, have a really we almost do a dance, and we never really discuss who did what. He doesn't cook, but he'll connect up electronics while I'm prepping meat. I get it inspected and I start, trimming, injecting, seasoning, getting it all ready to go, and he'll go ahead and get that done. Unfortunately, my smoker, I cook on a Southern Q smoker, which is a tiny bit taller than me, so he'll put some charcoal in, and he kind of stays outside and stays out of my way where I get that done. And then I build the boxes, and he runs the boxes, and I'm so lucky to have a husband that likes to clean the trailer, and he does probably 95% of all of that. So luckily, he snoozes when we get there. He walks around and talks and meets everybody, and then after turn-ins, we kind of switch roles, and I go visit and talk with everybody, and then he's in the trailer cleaning up. So it's kind of funny that we kind of do it just the opposite. But we never had a discussion as to who was going to do what. I think maybe because I've been a chef my entire life, the trimming and that part of it, kind of naturally fell upon me. But I'm going to tell you something interesting that a lot of people don't know. Matter of fact, I don't think anybody knows, but maybe my mom and him. While we're at World Food, Bobby is going to compete himself for his first time in the IBCA.
Oh my!
I know, and so I do cater and I do cook food for one of the local restaurants. So we have to cook about between 15 and 20 butts at a time. So he has learned to take those butts apart muscle by muscle. That's in the last several weeks.
That's harder than KCBS.
Oh, yeah. And I think, what, though, he knows how to do that now. He can follow a timeline. I mean, he knows how to do all that. So the part I was worried about is how he was going to learn to build a box and know the muscles, and how to cut it and present it. So I think by cooking that many butts and taking them apart in the matter of the last few weeks, probably 75 butts, each one of them one by one, and it was so sweet. I came home from work, and he had it all laid out, every muscle from there.
Oh,
Perfect.
my.
The money muscle, the tubes, the roast, the horn, everything. So he's got it and the bone laying there. It was almost like, when you learn to take apart a rifle and put it back together.
I've never done that
So,
either.
Well,
I can take a pork butt apart.
All right, but you've seen the in the movies, Gumbo Pile has whatever.
Yeah.
But it was so funny that he's got that down. So now I've just finalized my recipe for fire and ice last night, and that we both are finally feeling comfortable with what is going on while we're down there, because there's a big change in world food this year. Did you know that?
No, but give me one moment. I'm going to jump ahead of you a little bit. What are you going to be cooking at World Food this week? Next week?
Well, I'm doing the Eat Barbecue, which used to be KCBS. That's the main change. They're doing a different format as far as judging. Bobby's going to be doing IBCA because I will not be there. I'll be competing in Fire and Ice, which is a grilling challenge, and I'm not going to tell you what I'm cooking. Sorry, it's a secret.
Well, that's what I wanted to know.
Well, how about if I tell you this? I think most of the women this year are going with beef because for the last 2 years, beef has won.
Uh-huh.
How about if I stick with that?
I can live with that. I can live with that.
Okay, all right. That's all I'm going to
say.
And then once I'm finished, he'll be turned in with his IBCA. We'll go to awards. And, I would have to eat the day before. So we'll see. You never know. We might be head to head.
You might be. Wouldn't that be cool?
No, it might be. Yeah, it would be. Then one of us has to go cook somewhere else because, you can't share a cook site. It's against the rules. So, we're taking a couple different pellet grills because pellets are allowed. So, he can go plug in somewhere else or I'll go plug in. We'll work it out.
Mm-hmm.
And the top 10 this year, Walmart's one of the big sponsors this year. They are providing the lamb chops, not racks of lamb, but they look like little T-bone steaks.
Mm-hmm.
That is the infused ingredient for top 10.
Oh.
So that's going to be very interesting. So I've had a hard time in my rural area where I live locating that brand, but my store luckily got me some in. And so I'm just going to do a run through of my recipe because I've cooked lamb many times in my background, but of course Bobby's never cooked it. But he does have I do know his recipe and he knows mine. So I think he's picked out something really cool, but I won't tell you what it is because he'll be upset.
Hey, let's back up a little bit. You keep talking about your experience as a chef. Now, back, and I found this out today and I didn't know it. I was going to ask you, what was your background and how you got into barbecue? But the better question is, share with us your background in the culinary world, because a lot of people are not going to believe this. But share with us where you went to school to become a chef.
I went to a school called La Varenne, which is in Paris, France, which is one of the oldest culinary schools in the world. Most people have heard of Cordon Bleu.
Right.
This is a different one. It hasn't franchised. It's nowhere else but in Paris, France. And then when I came to the U.S., I also have a degree from the Art Institute where I'm also an honor graduate because back in the early 80s, very, very difficult for a woman to get to be a chef. Pretty much, you made salads, you were servers, you worked in the banquet department. It just wasn't accepted. I'm not complaining. It's just the way of the world.
Right.
So I had to work through the ranks to get, respected. And then I did that for years and years and years. And then my father had fell ill with a stroke. So I started catering and not doing the day-to-day grind, working on a line.
Mm-hmm.
So my father had passed. So I continued to cater because I liked working for myself, worked out, because I kind of like my boss.
I'm with you.
And,
I like mine too.
Yeah. So the barbecue thing is it's such a strange story, and I don't know if I've ever told you this.
No, go ahead. I want to know because
it's a very strange. People don't believe it, but it's true. We had a huge storm in my hometown where I was living at the time, and we had to have our roof put on. Whole new roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I was feeding the guys there. It was like a dozen guys trying to get it done before another storm rolled in. And so my husband and I had some points on like a hotel points or credit card points. And we didn't know what to get. We had jewelry, we had toasters, we had all that crap, So we went and got a Brinkman smoker. A Brinkman water smoker. That's what we used our points for, which is, we had no idea. So I started cooking on it, and when those guys were there working on the roof, I thought, well, in appreciation, I'm gonna cook on it. So I made like beef ribs, I made pork, I made chicken, I couldn't even tell you everything that I cooked. And, and fed them there in my garage, set up tables, because like I said, there was a dozen of them. So the guy that was going to collect the check that owned the company to make, because the insurance company gave me a check for the roof, came to give us a check for $10,000. I said, well, why don't you just stay and eat? And he thought I was being the sweet little woman, and he did. So he ate, and he looked at my husband and said, wow, this is really good barbecue. And my husband looked at me and pointed, he said, well, tell her.
Because she made it.
And then, and of course, he probably didn't believe that. And then he said, there's a friend of mine that's doing this barbecue contest. I don't know if you've ever heard of anything like that in Alabama, which we live right close to the border, anyway, where we live. And it's, you should come. Well, we went. Well, we just realized when we got there that a little Brinkman wouldn't be enough, so we had to go to the local big box store and buy another smoker to cook all that meat.
Here we go.
We had no idea. So we just bought the big box. We're not talking about like what I cook on now. We bought another one. First contest, we won. Can you believe that?
Well, I can believe it. And it was, with your background, I can believe it.
Well, the thing is, I've learned that the chefy stuff doesn't work. You have to take out that stuff and not do too much chefy. So after that, we won. And then we bought like a, little side burner, and then we bought this and we bought that. And then now, we've got the rig and, I cook on my Southern Q Buttercup, the bright yellow one. I know you know it, but I don't know if your listeners know. And I love my Southern Q. This is my 5th one. And I've got another one on order for when the season ends. My season ends December, after the first weekend of December in Demopolis, Alabama, where I'm doing a dual KCBS ABA, Alabama Barbecue Association, and it wraps up the filming of BBQ. So I have until February to get a new smoker. So Scott Smith with Southern Q Smokers is going to start on mine soon, and we're changing very few things on it because I need the ports a little bit different for the new Flame Boss. The newest series, I just want to put my probing a little bit through the top rather than the side. So I'm going to have just that added, and that yellow paint takes a little bit longer to cure and some things like that.
Well, he builds great.
The story of how I began barbecue. But
that's
isn't that
funny.
Crazy?
And everybody, and Tina, it's you tell that story, and it's the same story that everybody in competition barbecue tells. They cooked something, and somebody in the neighborhood said, "Hey, that's pretty good. You ought to, open a restaurant, or you ought to go to contest." And it gives you just enough confidence and courage to take that next step. And for most people, it doesn't work out, but for you and Bobby, it's worked out in tenfolds. Y'all have just it's taken off for you. And look what you've got to do. I mean, you're living the culinary life that most of the barbecue people would at least like to experience a little TV exposure, a lot of contest exposure, being a voice of barbecue. When people want to know about it, they go to you. And one thing I wanted to touch on is I've never heard you speak much about this, but you teach a lot of barbecue classes, don't you?
I do teach. I do a lot of private classes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty much an open book. I get literally, I would say, every day a message from somebody asking something. And I tell them, because you still have to produce it. Every smoker, every little piece of wood, everything makes it a little bit different. But to go back to living the dream, like you say I am, you know what the best part to me of the barbecue life is?
What's that?
What's the best part to you? Mine is all of the friends.
Oh, yeah.
And people that I have met, and how awesome all of them are.
Well,
to me, that blows me away. I mean, I lived in the neighborhood for 12 years and had people that never spoke to me. I can go to a contest now, and there'll be a team that I don't even know, or they don't know me, and I can say, hey, do you have any brown sugar? And I guarantee if they have it, they're going to give it to me, just like I'm going to give it to them
Right.
or you, or it, you know.
Oh, it's a very
family.
strong community. Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
My mom has kidded me when she first started seeing my posts and stuff. What is barbecue family? You know, that's an odd term to some people. I'm like, but we do treat each other like family, and honestly, we probably treat each other almost better than some family members treat each other.
Well, what always amazes me is that when contests are over, people will, they'll offer you to taste their contest food. They'll want to taste yours. They'll give you an opinion, an honest opinion. They'll tell you what they taste, what they don't taste, what you need to put in there for somebody like our team that doesn't get to cook in a major competitions that often. They're huge help to us. And we've never.
And I like to help people. I want to help people. I want to be known as that cook if you need help. I don't want to be known as, oh, well, don't go ask them. I want to be that cook.
Right.
That people like and they want to talk to and they want to spend time with. Because I look at it this way. I'm an ambassador of the sport before I did the TV show. I'm an ambassador of the sport to the girls that are coming with their dads now, to a contest. And the kids queue, because I don't have children and kids. I'm like the Pied Piper. They love me. So I look at it that way. I want to be known as that person that was willing to help no matter what you needed or no matter what you wanted. If I had it, if I don't have it, I know somebody that has it. Let me get it for you.
Well, I know
that's what I want to be.
The first time when I saw you on that American Grilled show, I watched that and I was sitting there going, I've cooked against that girl before. And then, and I said, and then, I started, so that kind of got my interest in that show. I was already interested in it, but it really piqued. And I started looking at some of the different people, and it was people that I had met along the barbecue trail, that they're just simply crossing over to the Will Smith here in Chattanooga. Had no idea.
Oh, yeah,
and they're Will on television. I know,
and I know he's opening a restaurant.
Yeah, he sure is.
And I don't know how close he is yet.
He's close.
Really
he's close. He's down to the.
He's already.
No, he's down to the.
I'm going to go up there. We should meet there and have fun.
We can do that. He's down to
the opens. I would love it.
He's down to the Freon in the cooler.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, real quick, your favorite backyard? We've got one of our listeners said we want some recipes. So give me a recipe that you can share with the listening audience, and that they can cook themselves. That has that goes good with barbecue.
This you can do on any smoker, pellet smoker, or if you don't have one, you can cook it in your oven. This is my standby when my husband shows up with business people that I didn't know was flying in town, and I need to do a hot dessert. You know, the South we're known for cobbler pies, right?
Right.
Okay, get your pen.
I've got it. I'm ready.
It's so easy. I mean, this is so easy. In a bowl, you'll mix about 3/4 of a cup of just white sugar, 1 cup of self-rising flour, 1 cup of buttermilk, and mix that all together. And then a teaspoon of, I like to use vanilla.
Okay.
If you want to use almond or something, you can. But I like just basic vanilla. You just stir that up. It looks kind of like a thin pancake batter. And then I'll take 1 stick of butter and put it in one of those 9x13 or 9x11. Depends on, it doesn't matter. This recipe works for each pan. And you melt that on your grill or in your oven in the pan. Then you pour that dough that I just gave you the recipe in there.
Right.
And you got 2 cans of your favorite fruit in it.
Okay.
Peaches or cherries, canned apples, canned blueberry, whatever kind you want.
Whatever. There's a lot of fruits.
Smoker. That's it. That's so easy. And then all you do is put it in your smoker, and each one will be a little bit different. Cook it kind of hot. It's probably going to be at the most 30 minutes in the oven, maybe 30 minutes. And that baby's done. You got hot cobbler. Is that not the simplest recipe you've ever heard?
That's simpler, and you don't have to go inside. You can put it right next to the pork butts or the ribs or the brisket when you're cooking. About a half an hour to 45 minutes before they get off, because everybody's usually cooking pretty hot at that time anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is so easy to do. If anybody forgets, y'all can reach me on Facebook. I need y'all to like my page, Tina Cannon, and just like all those posts so I can get that money for my charity. Or you can get me at the Pit Crew Barbecue Team page. And you're welcome to email me at thepitcrew@charter.net.
And she'll answer, folks. Last year when I went to the World Food Championship, I was confused about what to take just in case we were going to make the final round. And the person I called was Tina. I knew that you would help me and then tell me what to bring. I knew you'd shoot me straight. Okay, before we go, we're going to have our Owl's Nest Barbecue Show lightning round. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Okay.
All right.
I'm ready.
Your favorite chef or barbecue pitmaster? You're on the clock.
Well, because he's so entertaining, I'm going to pick Myron Mixon.
Okay, that's good. Your favorite?
Because he loves my dog.
He loves everybody's dog. He tells that to everybody. He hates animals.
He loves my dog.
He hates animals.
I don't
Favorite food to make?
Italian.
Favorite food to eat?
Italian. Well, maybe Mexican. Half and half.
Favorite knife?
Wusthof.
Worst thing you've ever had to eat?
Oh, God. I hate McDonald's.
They asked
McDonald's hamburger.
Somebody asked Anthony Bourdain one time what was the worst thing he ever had to eat, and he said a McDonald's chicken nugget.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I hate McDonald's. Only thing I will eat there is a French fry. I hate McDonald's.
Well, Tina,
McDonald's, if you want to sponsor us, sorry.
Tina, thank you so much. We sure appreciate you joining us. It's been a pleasure. Good luck next week.
Well, I appreciate you having me. I'm fixing to go eat my birthday dinner with my family and blow up candles.
Happy birthday to you, and bring home a win to the Southeast from the World Food Championships from November 7th to the 11th down in Orange Beach, Alabama. If you're down there, make sure you find Tina Cannon. She'll be glad to spend all the time she can with you. And thank you.
In a bright yellow rig.
She's easy to spot. And tell Bobby good luck to him in that IBCA competition.
Yeah, and like my post, please. Cue him with purpose for the Meals on Wheels donation.
It could mean $15,000 to the Meals on Wheels in Coweta County, Georgia. Tina, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Okay, Steve.
Everybody, Tina Cannon from the Pit Crew Barbecue Team live on the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. What a fantastic guest and just a fantastic person. Folks, I'm telling you, Tina, she epitomizes the type of people that are in competition barbecue. They're open. They unfortunately in that sport, it's difficult to make it a spectator sport because so much of the cooking and everything is done inside of trailers and inside of tents and what have you. There's not a lot to watch. However, after the competitions are over or Friday nights before, you can go to these competitions, and the cooks, when you find them, they're very open. They'll explain to you how their smokers work, because if you go to a contest and you pick out the 10 people, you're likely to find 10 different types of cookers that people are cooking on, and they'll be glad to tell you how they work. And by all means, if you get a chance to go to one, go by and see if this is something that you want to get into. And if you're a backyard cooker, it's the greatest place in the world to go, because these guys are full of flavor information. If you want to know that, what do I use on ribs? What do you use on ribs? And that sort of thing, they'll be glad to share with you that information. All right, we are going to go to, let's find Nick Thiers. I believe that is Nick's number right there. Bear with me just a second. We're going to be bringing on Nick Thiers from Chattanooga, one of Chattanooga's favorite chefs, and he'll be heading down to Alabama as well for the World Food Championships.
Hello.
Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Let me get your picture up here. Bear with me 1 minute. Having to do a little multitasking. There we go. Let's get a big picture of Nick right there. There's my man right there. Nick, there's the Now, a lot of people don't know, Nick, you are the former #1 ranked chef in the World Food Championships, aren't you?
Former. I think I still am.
That was going to be my next question. Are you still the #1 ranked chef in the World Food Competitions?
You know it.
Right here from Chattanooga, Nick Thayers. He is the reigning steak champion of the prestigious Lamar Johnson Classic Barbecue event held last month in Ottawa. He is a master instructor at the Virginia College Culinary Program, and he's now part of the Reinhardt Food Service team out of Knoxville. Ladies and gentlemen, America's favorite, or Chattanooga's favorite chef, Nick Thayers, joining us here on the Owl's Nest Barbecue Show. Nick, you're heading down next week to Orange Beach, Alabama, to the World Food Championships. Share with everyone what category you'll be cooking, and what was your path to get there.
So I'll be cooking in the chef category again.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually won my golden ticket last year before I even left there, in a little mystery basket competition.
Right.
And last few months I've been nothing but prepping and practicing and getting ready for it.
Now explain what the chef category is, because bacon, seafood, sandwich, dessert, they're all kind of self-explanatory, but I've always been a little curious about this chef category.
So what it is, it's kind of like the other categories. You have a structured dish that everybody has to make.
Mm-hmm.
And so this year it's gnocchi.
It's what?
Gnocchi.
And what is
kind
that?
Of a weird word.
What is that?
Traditionally, it's a little potato dumpling. They were
Okay.
used to make use up the leftover potatoes, and you make them with some flour and some eggs and some different cheeses or spices or whatever you want to do. And
Sounds good.
you would typically poach them and then serve them as a dish.
Sounds good to me.
So, and then our second round is a signature dish, and that's pretty much free range. So the gnocchi, the structured dish, gives everybody a level playing field because there's a ton of chefs.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of gives everybody, everybody's making their own twist on it. And then the signature dish is free range, whatever you want to do.
Cook whatever you want.
So cook whatever you want.
Wow. I mean, how in the world could you decide what you want to bring to that part of the competition with everything that's available to you? Do you have? I mean, it's got to be a big decision because number one, you've got to find something that's going to taste good to 10 people, right?
Yeah. Not to mention, you got to find something that you can cook within 45 minutes. So
and feed how many people? How many is it? Is it 10? Or is it
I think this round is 5.
5,
but
yeah.
you have to have 6 plates.
Yeah, because you have to have the judging plate too.
Yeah.
The World Food Championships it's a fascinating way to turn in food. How did you get interested in the World Food Championships?
Well, I had a former boss of mine, Chef Andy. She's a great chef,
Mm-hmm.
and she had won the pasta category. And whenever I was working for her, she went down there and competed again and everything. I was like, hey, I want to do that because I've been doing local competitions. I was like, well, let's go down there. And so my first year down there, I won the chef's category, and it was a little bit different, but because we had skills tests
Mm-hmm.
in there. But ever since then, I mean, it's a load of fun. There's like 500 chefs and pit masters and all combined into one area, and it's like anybody that loves food, it's like their little haven down there.
Share with us the atmosphere that's in the kitchen arena, because that is, folks, it's off the chain.
Yeah. I mean, us chefs, we have fun in the kitchen arena, but whenever that clock starts, it's heads down and focused until that 2 hours is up, and then, I mean, then we're all buddies again.
Yeah,
but
sure.
whenever that clock starts, I mean, it's you can cut the tension with a knife in there.
But while
everybody's focused,
while you're cooking, who are you taking down to help you?
I have a couple sous chefs. I'm waiting to nail one down with me.
Mm-hmm.
Last year I had Hiram. He's a good friend of mine from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So I don't know I think he's actually competing this year. So I have a couple different sous chefs lined up.
So, while they're cooking, the people are standing around, and like Nick's family will be down there, his friends, and they're cheering each one of these teams on, and it's loud. That's what I couldn't get over, Nick, last year when I saw it, how loud it was in there. You would think that it would be quiet with everybody concentrating, but it's not, is it? Man, they are cheering and go go go.
Yeah, you'd think that the Super Bowl was playing.
It's an exciting format, and I don't see how you can possibly cook with that much pressure, because that I think that barbecue is pressure packed, but it's nothing. It is nothing like the kitchen arena that Nick and
and you have to be ready for everything. I mean, your stove might go down, your oven may not be lit. I mean, equipment always fails. I mean, you have to know how to work around that. And you may see some equipment down there that you've never seen before. Like last year we had these new mixers and they worked out great, but for some people they were a whole another mystery because they're not a KitchenAid.
Yeah, you had to learn how to use it right.
Yeah, I mean, you had to learn in like 5 seconds.
Nick, I learned about the can-do spirit of people like yourself last year when I was helping Chef Dow. You and I were both helping Chef Dow on his chicken team at that event down at the Choo Choo. Do you remember that? When we did all those chickens, and we showed up, and everything was supposed to be set up waiting on us, and it was a literal disaster, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had to run out and go get some of those cheap put together grills.
Yeah, there was nothing ready, and all these chefs came around, and I thought, I had just heard about y'all's reputations as hotheads, screamers, yellers, and I thought, we're going to get to see the show now. This is going to be really interesting. and after a little bit of belly aching, I think it was what was that? The guy from the Bald Headed Bistro that just left, Eric Fulkerson, is that his name?
Yeah, Chef Eric.
Chef Eric. He says there's this group. If you can just imagine this real big tall fellow, Chef Eric. And there's this group of guys and gals around him, and they were all moaning and groaning. And then he says, "Well, enough of that. Let's make this thing work." And he went out and bought grills, and the rest of us stayed behind and put together what grills we could. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. These guys took an event that wasn't ready to be an event, and they made it. You guys, Nick, made it an event, and y'all were the reason that this thing turned out. And the people that came, they had no idea, did they?
No, they had no idea.
They had, if they knew.
I do remember how hot it was that day, though.
Oh, that was awful. I mean, that was terrible. But if they had any idea on how close that event came to not being an event, they would have been amazed, because y'all went from not zero, from negative to a positive in just a matter of hours. It was incredible to watch. And then last year when I went down to the World Foods, and I didn't hang around the barbecue very much. I was hanging out in that tent because that was so interesting to watch all those young people in there cooking their hearts out, and their friends gathered around them, and hooping and hollering. It was just a fantastic time, and I know it's got to be exciting to be part of that.
Oh yeah, and it's the one time a year. I mean, the first year I was down there, I made a ton of friends and ton of chefs. I mean, Chef Now all the way from Washington up there close to the border, and Chef Steve from Colorado and LA, and I mean, chefs from all over the country and all over the world are going to be there.
And there are famous people that are people that you see on Food Network, Travel Channel, the household names that are there. And you'll be looking up, and you'll be walking right by them, and they're always nice. Or better yet, Nick, you'll be cooking right next to them, won't you?
Yeah. There's a ton of people that've been on Chopped and all those contests, and they're all down there, and we have a blast.
So what have you decided what you're going to cook yet for your anything goes dish, so to speak, for lack of a better word?
Yeah, well, they threw in a little bit of a twist this year. They threw in these kind of ingredients if you want to use them. If you do use these ingredients, like John Boy and Billy's barbecue sauce, I think there's a couple other ones. Wampler sausage, if you use it and you place the highest out of anybody that's used that, you get a little extra cash on the side. And so I've kind of based my dish around a few of those ingredients. Another good sponsor of mine from Springer Mountain Farms, I'm going to use some of his chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So
they make some good product, and real quick before we've got plenty of time. What about the competition scene here in Chattanooga? I sometimes it's hard to believe how many different contests that we have here where you don't have to drive anywhere to compete. You know,
we have a ton of them.
Isn't it? I mean, don't you think that's unusual? Because I've spoken with Chris Grove up in Knoxville. I'm sure you know Chris. Nibble me this, and he says that they don't have anything like the two contests that we do in Ooltewah. I don't think they do anything like they have down at the market. I saw you down there a couple times this year. I saw you down there competing one time. It's just the
just
food.
Talked to Melissa today.
Yeah, the food scene here in Chattanooga it's good, but I think it's setting on a diving board ready to jump off and go to a next level. What do you think?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Chattanooga keeps expanding every day. I mean, they're redoing the roads just to accompany more places to live, more restaurants are popping up every single day. I mean, it's the food scene in Chattanooga is crazy.
And that leads me to the next thing. You're teaching the night classes at Virginia College in the culinary program, and I know recently they announced that they were having to shut that program down. What is that going to do to the restaurant? I don't know. The people that are looking for people to work, I'm sure that they hired a lot of people out of that culinary program.
Yeah, since I've been there, we've probably graduated close to 500 or 600 students. And I mean, you can ask any chef around town. I mean, it's hard to find line cooks and people that want to work those hours, and people that are actually into cooking and want to be in that kitchen. And that are qualified to not hurt themselves or actually know what they're doing.
It's extremely hard work, isn't it?
It is. It is. There's another culinary program in town, but I don't think they do much kitchen work. It's more focused towards hospitality. But I mean, it's going to be rough without the college there, because a lot of those students, I mean, I can pretty much call up almost any restaurant and like, hey, there's one of my students.
Yeah. Well, maybe some company or somebody will come in and pick up the slack. I certainly hope so, because the few short times I spent over there in that kitchen, just in meetings with you and on different ventures, it was quite a tremendous facility. I mean, I don't think it was second to none, was it?
Yeah, I mean, we have an awesome facility over there, and that's one of the reasons I switched to Reinhardt, because that way I can still be out there in the community and visit all my chef buddies and doing events. And I chose Reinhardt because, I mean, they have such cool products coming out of there now. I mean,
tell us a little bit
they're really pushing forward.
Tell me a little bit about that shift in careers now. You're going to work at Reinhardt out of Knoxville, and they're like, what, a food? I know I buy some meat from them, but they're a food products provider.
Yeah, it's really cool. They're under the Ray's Holding, kind of like a sister of it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we own Great Lakes Coca-Cola bottling. We own a beer bottling company. We own Martin Brower. They do all the McDonald's distributing and fast food. And then you have Reinhardt, which does all the restaurants and kind of more so focused towards like kind of bar and grill, mom and pop, upscale restaurants, some Mexican restaurants, and the products that they're producing. Like, I just drove back into town like 30 minutes ago from there. But the products they're getting in for these restaurants is just, it's surpassing all the old school, open up a can and dump it on a buffet table.
Nick, I would think with your background that you would be a wealth of information to people in restaurants, guiding them on what to cook, what grades of meat to buy, what ingredients to buy. Is that kind of where you're aiming right now?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing some sales. I'm going to be doing some restaurant consulting, talking with all the chefs, kind of updating their menus and helping them out and keeping up with new culinary trends that keep coming out every day. And
well,
so, I mean, Chattanooga's never going to get stale. Like, oh yeah, we've been in that restaurant a few times. Like, you got to keep going and see what they're going to be putting on the menu, the new things that are coming out. And so,
the biggest thing in the restaurant business, and the biggest thing in any business is keeping yourself relevant. I know, being a small businessman myself, running a gas station, you have to literally reinvent yourself almost daily to keep drawing customers. Okay, we're going to do this. We're going to go to the Owl's Nest BBQ Show lightning round. Are you ready for this?
Sure.
Get your thinking cap on now, okay? All right. First question. Favorite chef?
Famous or local?
Favorite chef. It's the only hint you get. Favorite chef.
Probably Chef Dow at the Reed House.
Oh, my goodness. His head just got bigger. He'll have to live there now. He won't be able to get out the front door. Favorite food to make?
Probably seafood or something I've never cooked before.
Favorite food to eat?
Oh, pizza for sure.
Favorite knife?
Favorite knife?
Favorite knife.
Dahlstrom.
Okay. And the worst thing you ever had to eat?
Casserole.
Your mom didn't make it, did she?
No, like Thanksgiving's coming up, and that's like the worst holiday for a chef.
Because everybody wants it.
Every casserole's mushy, the turkey's always overcooked, and
and you just have to sit there and eat it, right?
Yeah, usually the foods are bland.
And tell Aunt Mary how good it is, right? She choke it down.
Oh yeah, smile, put on your smile, and just sit there.
Nick Thayers, thank you.
I kind of treat my family a little bit differently. I treat them kind of like line cooks. I'm like, all right, here we go, guys. Here's your recipes. This is what we're all going to meet up with. And
oh, that's good.
Thanksgiving's going to be awesome.
So you make them work. I like that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, rather than just like, oh, you just show up with whatever you want to bring, honey. Yeah, no.
No, not in Nick's kitchen. You don't.
Yeah, our dinner is structured. You know what you're bringing, and then we have a variety of food.
Nick, thank you so much for joining us, and good luck next week down at the World Food Championships in Orange Beach, Alabama to you, okay?
Well, I appreciate it, sir.
You betcha. Come see us out there in Oodlewild. Everybody, Nick Thayers, Chattanooga's chef, one of his favorite chefs. He'll be down in Orange Beach, Alabama next week competing in the chef's category at the $300,000 plus World Food Championships. Hey, I want to tell you what's coming up next Wednesday night on the Owl's Nest BBQ Show. David Bosca, the champion of the world, crowned last Saturday at the Jack Daniels Invitational Barbecue Contest. David is the world champion barbecuer, and he is the maker and creator of the Butcher barbecue products that we carry at the Midnight Oil. David will be on the show next Wednesday at 7, and he and I will go over every protein that he cooked, and he will tell you exactly which products he used on each protein. We will cover chicken, we will cover ribs, we will cover pork butt, and we will cover brisket. You don't want to miss this show. David will go over every single protein. He'll tell us a little bit about the Jack Daniels winning that contest, the 30th annual Jack Daniels contest that he won. And he'll go over every protein and tell you exactly what he used. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it so much. Nick Thayers, Tina Cannon, good luck next week to you both at the World Food Championships. Come see us in Ooltewah at the Midnight Oil, and we'll see you here next Wednesday night at 7 o'clock on the Owl's Nest BBQ Show, coming from you high atop White Oak Mountain here in Old Until next Wednesday, everyone. Please drive safely and eat well.